when I started learning from you, I learned with ease because you took information that I understood and applied it to the spiritual laws. But the one thing that I found as well, that it was like I stepped through a door to a world of wonder.
That's a beautiful way to say it because it really does. It's for most people, the door is invisible. They don't even know there's a door. It's like they've lived in a box their whole life and never realized that there was a door in the box that they could open and get out. And that's part of the miracle of raising your awareness and of using your imagination is all of a sudden things become visible that weren't even visible before, not even part of your understanding.
It's the world is like everything is right there, but you don't even see it.
That's right.
And the one thing that I found is from learning from you, Dan, is removed it so I could actually, you remove that box, I'll say, remove that box or lifted that box so that I could actually see it. And the most important thing I think that helped me is I understood my power. And it wasn't to look outside of myself for anything, it was to look inside of myself. And that power is amazing.
And that's part of the secret that's been, it's like things are hidden around us everywhere. Everywhere there are signs and there are pictures and there are objects or there are circumstances that happen that are trying to tell us a lesson, trying to open our vision, open our understanding to see something that has always been there, but we haven't been aware of it. Animals are really good at that. You can take a deer, which is a fairly large animal, and when that deer decides to hide someplace, you can walk right past it and not know that it's there, unless it happens to get up and move. You go, where did that deer come from? Why didn't I see it? You didn't see it because it didn't want you to see it. But things in nature are there for a purpose, for a reason, and that reason is to give us a deeper understanding of how the unseen spiritual world works. And it's like a bird coming out of camouflage, and all of a sudden there's a bird flying in front of you. Where did that bird come from? Well, it was always there. Maybe not always, but it was there. You just didn't see it. And that's part of the wonder. Like you said, it's a miracle. It's a wonderful thing when those doors start to open.
And the one thing that I want to mention is, your example about the deer is you don't see it. But the thing is, there might be someone that sees it. And then if that person points it out to you, then you see it.
That's right.
And the one thing that I want to elaborate on here a little bit is the fact that, Dan, because of your vast science experience, your studies with professional development as well as theology, the spiritual world, you look at things a little bit differently. So you think and you see things that other people could keep walking by multiple times, and they would never see. And so the value of your courses, Dan, is because you see things that people could keep walking by, they'd never see.
Well, I thank you, Brenda. That makes me feel wonderful, but it's true. There are people in life right now that see things from a different perspective, and that different perspective or a different level of understanding about the connection between one thing and another opens the door for understanding for other people. And part of what I want to do, what we want to do with this program, is to take that book, Awakened Imagination, which can be like a walk in the forest where you don't know the names of any trees, not aware of the plants, what's what, or even that there are any animals around until they're pointed out. And then your level of understanding increases and you start to see the connection between things that you weren't aware of before. And you can take part in this journey at a very different level, at a level of understanding that will take you to the next step that is invisible to you at this point.
The one thing that comes to mind is, like, for me, I took various different courses and continued on, but I was still lost. And when I started taking your classes, Dan, you opened my eyes and I began to see the power. But until I really understood it, and for me, I like to understand things at a bit deeper level than some people, but basically I was still lost. And that's why the value of like a mentor who can point things out really clearly and with ease is so important, because otherwise you do remain lost.
That's really a good way to put it, because having a guide is always helpful. If I were going on a whitewater fishing tour around where I live on the Oregon coast, I would get a guide. I wouldn't try to do it on my own, because I don't know where hidden obstacles are. I don't know where whirlpools are in the rivers. I don't know where the salmon or the steelhead or whatever the local fish are that they're fishing for, where those fish even live. Where's the best place to find them? I wouldn't be aware of any of that. So you hire a guide, someone who's been there, someone who knows the hidden whirlpools or knows the best way to get from point A to point B and can point that out and be a companion along the way.
And the one thing about this book that is so nice is it allows you to really step into a new world with, I'm just going to say, with wonder. When you really learn how the universal laws work, it's not with like force, it's letting go with ease and grace.
Yeah.
And once you understand it, you can have a life of ease and grace.
That's really a good way to put it, Brenda. I asked Bob Proctor one time, you talk about getting in your own way. How can I move to get out of my own way? And I had no understanding. I was serious. I had no understanding of how that could happen. And he just kind of looked down at the ground and frowned a little bit. And he said, just get out of the way, which was good advice. But it wasn't clear enough for me to realize that really it was, the secret was raising my level of understanding and then being trusting that really the source of imagination, the source of power that we have is all for us. There's no judgment, there's no punishment, there's no, you didn't learn your lesson. It's always, I've got your back. I'm here, I'm your best friend. Ask me what you want, and then believe that I've given it to you already. There are some pathways that are counterintuitive to start with, and then you realize the universe, infinite intelligence, God is my best friend. Unconditional love, infinite wealth and abundance. Anything I ask is possible.
And the one thing that came to mind is it's your best friend. And the thing is, it always delivers. But the key thing is, what are you telling it to deliver? Most people tell it to deliver what they don't want,
Right.
not what they do want.
And that's a mistake that has been being made for thousands of years, even though there have been people along the way saying, all things are possible. Just have faith, know that you're able to do it, and believe that it's already been given to you. Simple as that.
The thing is, I think it takes repetition to really believe this at a deep level. And it takes, as Bob Proctor says, it takes, continual study to really understand that this is the way it is. They're universal laws. They work everywhere the same way.
That's right.
And it takes repetition and learning to really understand what your power is before you can actually use that power.
That's exactly right, Brenda. And the picture of us having to do it again and again is just evidence that we don't really understand things at a very high level to start with. And we've been filled with other ideas. And we've been filled with, not with our own ideas, we've been filled with the ideas of other people. Other people's opinions form our life. That doesn't even make sense. We have the ability to open up and communicate directly with source energy. We can do that anytime, any place. And the whole, not just a new life, but a whole new world, a whole new universe opens up to us. And that's people that don't understand say that's absolute foolishness. But it's just because they see from a different perspective.
I'm really looking forward to studying Awakened Imagination, even rereading the first chapter to prepare. There's so much in it, but there's so many quotes. I'm just going to say, Dan, that I really didn't understand. And so I'm looking for you to translate that. So I'm really looking forward to this, Dan.
Well, I'm looking forward to, and starting to unpack this book is going to open up windows and doors for me, let a breath of fresh air come into my life, but it'll also do the same thing for you. I really look forward to working with you and going through all of this new information, or if you've read it before, information you've read before from a different point of view with a new perspective. Thanks for being with us today. My goal is to give you value with every lesson. If you would like us to notify you every time a new lesson is ready, click subscribe below, then turn on notification. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks.